A's Extra.
Thank you, Joe. I'm down here with Orleans Firebirds manager Kelly Nicholson postgame after Game 1. Kelly, your team comes away with an 8-7 win. Been a lot of close games between Chatham and Orleans. You've been around the Cape League for a long time. What makes this rivalry what it is?
Well, when I first got up here in 2001, the rivalry was pretty heated, to be real honest with you. Schiff was managing, and it wasn't until an all-star game at Eldridge, and John and I were out shagging during BP, where we got to know one another. And I think from that day forward, the rivalry kind of was a lot more friendly, right? It's Orleans and it's Chatham, and but after that day, like I said, once we got to know one another, it died down a little bit. Not to say the competitiveness was not there, but we became friends. And Schiff was such a great mentor to me and all of us on the Cape. I miss him dearly, but we've had some good ones for past 2 decades.
You've been around with over 2 decades coaching at Orleans. What keeps you coming back year after year to the Cape League and to the Firebirds?
People, the relationships. I love watching these guys play every night. My wife loves it. It's a nice break for me to, from LA and teaching and being in a high school environment to being around college kids and baseball. But it's always been about the people for me.
You've had a number of special teams with Orleans over the course of those 2+ decades. What makes this year's group unique, and what do you like most about your team this season?
Well, I was just telling somebody that I've never had more fun around a group of guys than I've had around this group this summer. They really like being around one another. They care about one another. They're competitive. They like to win. And who wouldn't want to be around, guys like that?
Obviously, the league has changed a lot over the last handful of years, and there's more departures and entries in terms of players in and out in this league. What do you think keeps certain players here for that long?
Well, I think you have some kids that are super committed, but I think the landscape of college baseball is changing, right? The portal, NIL, the draft, the Appy League, the Draft League. And with college baseball changing, the Cape League is going to have to make some adjustments to keep up. There was a pretty good coach named John Wooden who said there's no progress without change. And we need some change in this league. I think we need to start later. I think we need to play fewer games. We need to end sooner and get these kids home so they can have 10 to 14 days with their families and rest, because as soon as this season's over, if it's over on the 12th, a lot of our guys have to be back to school. I have to be back on the 15th. I know Vandy has to be back on the 18th, and it doesn't give kids a break, man. They've been going at it. Since last fall, right? And big leaguers probably have more time off than college kids these days. It's a little crazy.
You mentioned a number of the changes that you would hope to see in this league. What's one thing that you think has stayed the same and keeps fans and players and coaches coming back to this league?
Well, I think baseball, right? People love baseball, and people love to come watch the best players in the country play. And it's free, and it's a great family environment. The parks are cool. The towns are cool. I just think people love baseball. And anytime they can come watch the best kids in the country play and be up close and get on the field after the game and get to know the players and get to know people like you, it's attractive.
Kelly, what were your takeaways from that Game 1 win?
Well, I think we're pretty lucky, to be real honest with you. I think we were lucky. But it's been kind of the theme of our team. They showed a lot of grit coming up with 2 runs in the 9th, and then Matson coming in and being Sean Matson. And so I got to tip our cap to our guys. But I was extremely proud of them, because it was, the day was kind of flat, right? It's kind of hot and nobody's in the stands, and it's a weird deal, right? Grayson Carter goes out and throws 1 pitch and everybody runs off the field, right? We run off and they go take their position on. It was just kind of weird. But I'm certainly glad that we came out on top today.
Game number 1 resumed today due to a fog suspension. Have you ever seen the kind of summer with fog that Chatham's had this year?
No, not as much fog. I've seen it. We actually, in 2005, my first year as a manager in the playoffs, we came up here for Game 2 and it got fogged out. So we had to come back the next day, resume it, and hop on the bus and then go back to Orleans and finish the series. So our guys haven't, right, been a part of that, but I've seen some crazy stuff. Not as crazy as it's been this summer.
Back-to-back games where the Firebirds have won the game in the final inning of regulation against the Anglers. What do you tell your team going down the stretch in close games like that?
I don't tell much at all, man. Just compete, and it's all about our preparation. As long as we've prepared, and I think these guys do a great job in their preparation, it's kind of out of our hands, right? Just tell them to be who you are and go compete and just give your very best effort.
Your team's getting ready for a playoff run. What's the biggest key in this league to having a team ready to make a run late?
Well, I think it's desire. I think the team that really wants to stick around, have all their guys stick around, and really have the desire to win a Cape League title, that's going to be the team that wins it. And I think our guys have the desire. We're probably going to lose a couple arms. I think we're going to be able to bring in a couple arms. So I like where we're at right now. I like this group.
One of the players that's made a big difference for you guys this summer, Joe Oyama, has been a staple in the leadoff spot and hitting near 370 on the summer. What have you seen in his game that surprised you?
Wow. I think probably the power, right? Right, he hits doubles and triples and homers, and he can bunt, and he can really defend, and he can run, and he's a great teammate, and the guys love him. And I think if there was a vote today, I think he'd probably be the MVP of the league. But we've got a ways to go, right? We have 6 games left, so we'll see. But he's certainly going to be up there in that voting.
Oyama back in the leadoff spot in game number 2 for you. Kelly, best of luck in game 2, and enjoy the final stretch with your team.
You bet. Thank you very much. Thank you for having me.